What does a good education mean to you? So I was really keen to find out what a good education really meant. And I thought that we were studying in these selective schools and being told that we're receiving the best kind of education. But there's no one actually telling us what the purpose of this is. So it started off as a boring school project, but I eventually turned it into something that I wanted to find out. So I created a number of surveys and a number of survey questions within them, and then distributed them amongst two categories: those who were experienced in the field of education, education activists, teachers, and mentors. And on the other hand, there were those who had no formal education. I did these surveys online and on Google Forms, and at times I had to physically distribute papers as well to ensure the validity, of course. I then eventually got the results and analyzed them. And what I found out was pretty interesting. There was no clear purpose of education for those in the education sector. So some of them said that the purpose of education was to acquire knowledge and eventually apply that to the world. Others said that education was about discovering one's true passions and finding out what one really wants to pursue. And to a few others, education was about developing one's soft skills. On the other hand, a majority of those who never had any formal education did not see the value of education. And some of them were not even sending their kids to school. To me, this was really surprising. I was a little confused after all these surveys, and my questions still remain unanswered, but I'd made progress. Now I'd figured out a bigger problem. A lot of children in India were never getting any kind of schooling. And even though I was unclear about the exact purpose of education, I knew it was imperative. So now I wanted to teach these children who were never being taught. But I really didn't know how to start or who to start with. So it started as a really small idea where I asked a few people who were interested in this field to look for students in their cities who they could teach. Eventually, after quite a while now, we've tied up with other organizations and we've expanded to other different parts of the country and different parts of the world. Most of our learning takes place online now, and with the pandemic, so we really had to adjust with that. After working in this field for a while now, there is one key takeaway that I have: that education is not purely academic. While academic competence is an important part of education, there are many other factors that make up a good education. When we look at the word education in Latin, it has two meanings. One is to train or to mold students, and the other is to guide or to lead. Aristotle said that educating the mind without educating the heart was no education at all. And this was proved to me by an incident which happened about 2 years ago. So I was at an underserved community where there were few of us, and we were assigning everyone tasks and helping them learn either an instrument or a subject or something like art. So one boy who does not even know me walks up to me and points to another boy and says that he wants to play that instrument, pointing towards the guitar then. And I was shocked. I realized how such small acts of compassion can be the ones that are the most meaningful. I don't know what the best model or the best way of education is, and since I'm 17, I have time to explore that. But I truly believe that any form of educational system should be flexible for the learner. And after a particular point, the learner should be deciding what he or she wants to pursue. Because if we do things that we truly enjoy, we'll start valuing the education we receive even more. Thank you.